Hey, what's going on, guys? This is going to be my out-of-box review for the HG Build Divers GM3 Beam Master. And as of yet, I've still not watched a single episode of Build Divers yet, so well, sorry about that. I won't have any reference about seeing this actually in the anime, but building the kit was pretty interesting because obviously it's based on the HGC GM3, which is another kit that I've never built. So it was kind of like building that kit for the first time as well as building this one. So I kind of got the feeling for both of those. And just in case anyone was wondering, I will just put this out there that you can build the full GM3 with this kit as well if you wanted to make an orange GM3 and you don't have the ability to just paint a GM3 kit in orange. But of course, we have all the new parts that if you were going to do something like that, you'd have all these new parts that would just kind of go to waste. So that would just kind of be a waste, right? So let's talk about all the new stuff for this kit. And it's pretty good. I mean, it depends on really what you want out of the kit. If it's design is like things that you like, then you're gonna be okay. Obviously, the biggest new feature to the design is those big binders there, like on the side of the waist. The head is new, the knee caps are new, and there's a couple other new parts here and there, but for the most part, the buster binders on this side are going to be like the biggest new feature about this kit, obviously, of course, the color as well. And the sad thing is that the buster binders are actually probably my least favorite part of this kit. They just kind of looked big and not really very interestingly designed and just kind of tacked on there as like these kind of extra things that just don't really mesh that well with the rest of the design of the mobile suit, I think. To me, they almost look like something more that you would see from like some 00 kit or something, with the shape of that white part there on the back and just kind of the general overall shape and the amount of detail in there. They almost look like something from like an older like 00 high grade kit or something. And so I don't really think they mesh too well with the overall very UC look of the GM3 there in general. And even some of the new parts, like the new kneecaps and the new parts on the side of the leg, still I think all look kind of like they could fit very easily in with the just HG, or not the HG, but with the UC timeline. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these stickers and everything for this kit. So of course we got a sticker in there under the visor, 2 there on the front of the head, 1 here on the front of the chest, 1 here on the back of the head, which usually these stickers for the cameras are in recessed areas, but that part there on the back of the head, that camera is actually what's the opposite of recessed? Anyway, it's a protruding detail that you stick a sticker on top of. So that'll be a little bit different for a camera anyway. Here on the top of this antenna thing here on the backpack, there's a little brown sticker that wraps around the top of that. Not very well, I'll add. Here on the top of the buster binders, we have gray stickers that stick on the top of there. And the same thing goes here for the front of the knee as well. We've got a gray sticker there that fits over the kneecap. Here on the front of the shins, there's a little gray sticker there that fits over that little detail. And then up underneath the head, there's gray stickers that wrap around the part of the neck. Then that neck part, the actual plastic, is the same brown as the front of the chest here, or the torso. But it's supposed to be gray, so they give you stickers to wrap around that. It's kind of a not very noticeable detail if you didn't want to put those stickers on there. Before getting into the articulation, let's just talk about a few seam lines on the kit. It's got a seam line running right down through the side of the head. A seam line down the middle of the shoulder armor as well, but it's not going to be all that noticeable since it's mostly covered by this missile pod here on the top, but you can see it here on the side of the shoulder armor. The seam line on the forearm is hidden in the front as just a kind of panel line detail there, but on the back you will have to remove that. It's just a flat space there, so you'll have to get rid of that seam line. You'll have to get rid of the seam line down the middle of the buster binders there, of course. And as for the legs, they're pretty much covered all around. All of these seam lines that would be on there are all disguised as panel lines, except for here on the front of the shin, below this little vent and above that little gray detail there. A little bit of seam line right there. And then here on the front ankle armor of the feet, there is a seam line on that as well. As for the articulation, the head will go up to there, which is pretty good. Down to there, also very nice. The shoulder has a polycap which will swing forward a bit there to help with the articulation. Otherwise, it's just there on a ball joint, so you can really only bring the arm up to about 90 degrees there, unfortunately. Then it's just a rotation there at the top of the arm, a double joint here in the elbow, which is pretty good. It'll give you a pretty full bend there, and then the wrist, of course, just on a ball joint. In the stomach section, you don't have any movement side to side. You can do it a little bit forward and back if you kind of just bring it up off the ball joint a little bit. You can kind of make that crunch just a tiny bit, not really a whole lot though. Of course, it's just going to rotate and just all of that. The front skirts will move individually if you clip them right down the center. The side skirts will move up and down, and then of course you can move the buster binders here around on there. You'll notice there's also 3 different pegs on here to allow you to set this at different points in there if you need for arranging that as a weapon. Also, very curious about this lower detail on here. That seems like there's supposed to be like something that's going to like slide onto there or something. As far as I've seen so far, I haven't seen anything about what that's actually going to be used for, but it definitely seems like a detail designed to be used for something that's going to clip onto there, or this is going to be able to clip onto something else. Also, here in the back, that definitely looks like there's going to be something that is designed to like plug into this white part here at the back, that this is maybe going to be like some sort of like beam, like giant beam sword weapon or something, and there's going to be some like big beam effect part coming out of that. As far as I've seen, I haven't seen anything about that, but it definitely seems suspicious that there's going to be more in store for this part. Also, here on the back skirt, the new back skirt piece that we have for this has these 2 connection points in there, and I'm not really particularly sure why. There doesn't really seem to be any particular reason, so that just makes me wonder what maybe the future might have in store for this kit. Anyway, back up here to the backpack, nothing really moves. Those thruster rails are just there, except for the little antenna there on the top, and then on the other side, it's just this little like cap piece, which looks kind of dumb. The way that it's sticking out, I think they could have made a piece that just fit more flushly there with the backpack to cover this up, instead of this thing which looks like a kind of ill-fitting cork in that. Luckily from the front, it's very unnoticeable. You wouldn't really notice that unless you're really looking at it, but if you do look at it, it just seems like a really stupid looking piece. If you move the buster binders out of the way, you're able to get the leg pretty far out to the side, which is pretty nice. We can also rotate the leg here at the top, and I found this actually kind of loose. The leg kind of seems to fall off here pretty easily, so just be careful about that. You're able to bring the leg up to just about 90 degrees there, and then bend the knee also just about 90 degrees. So really not a whole lot of upward movement there with the leg, but it still looks okay, I think, with this huge new part that you have for the front of the knee. I think it looks really cool. It's actually one of my favorite new parts of this kit. But also here on the side of the leg, this is another great new part about this kit, because these now have a separate white part for the vents. The original kit had a similar looking piece on the side of the leg, but it was all just molded as one piece, so you didn't have any color separation. Now we have the addition of that nice color separation there, so that's good. We also have these large missile launchers, which on the original GMIII are connected onto the side of the waist where the buster binders are now, but in this kit now we're going to be plugging them onto the side of the thigh. But I've also found that these also fall off kind of very easily. The peg is just a little bit too short or loose or something, but it doesn't really want to stay on there too well, but it'll be fine for the time being. The front ankle armor will obviously move up and down a little bit there. Ankle movement side to side is pretty good. You should be able to get a relatively wide stance out of that while keeping the feet flat. Forward and back movement at the ankle is also pretty good, and then we have full detail there up underneath the feet, so no hollow spaces there. That's always nice. Nice just shape here on the back of the leg. I like this little detail, just the little gray part in the vent being exposed here at the back of the leg. Overall, the detail on the legs in general is all very nice. I like it quite a bit. Okay, so before we get into the accessories, let's talk about all the leftover parts you have with this kit. Here's just a quick rundown of everything that you'll have left over from the original GMIII that you could use for this if you wanted to. We have the full GMIII shield, a very, very useful accessory, I think, if you wanted to use it with this. That's nice. We have the original back skirt here with a little bit different detail and missing the attachment point holes on there. We have the original side skirts, which are meant for holding the large missile launchers. If you wanted to plug the large missile launchers onto the kit as is, the side skirts now won't really hold them, so you would have to use the original side skirt armor, so do make sure that you don't throw these away if you want to keep that as an option. We have these option parts for the front of the missile pods on the top of the shoulders with the kind of little doors on those closed rather than having them open and showing the little tips of the missiles exposed there, so you can use these if you want. We have the original parts for the side of the calf, which, as I mentioned, are all molded as one piece, where you would have to paint that in a different color, whereas with this new kit, we have a little bit different detail, a little bit different shape of these in general, and some added color separation onto there. We also have the original kneecap parts, which I also find quite interestingly shaped. I quite like the look of these as well. I do still think I prefer the new big round ones that we have added to this kit. I think they add a lot of character, but these still are pretty cool for the original kit. Looking very similar to like the Gundam Mark II, we have the original beam saber handle racks here, which will attach onto the top of the backpack, which have been replaced with that little antenna and cork part that I talked about a little bit ago. But we do have the beam saber handles, which would plug into those. In this case, now with this kit, we have nowhere to store the handles, so you'll just have to keep these separate. But as you can see, we obviously have our clear beam effect parts for those as well. And then we have the full original GMIII head. Normally in this cases like this, where you have like a lot of parts of the original head, you'll be missing like one part or something, and a lot of the times it'll be the clear visor part on these. But in this case, we actually have the entire head, so if you did prefer this head, you could use it, and it'd be a tough call because I actually kind of really like both. This one I do find pretty cool. Alright, then getting into our just regular accessories for this, we have a third hand aside from the two holding hands on the kit. This one is a trigger finger hand, which I have here on the beam rifle. I really like the look of this beam rifle. Simple, but a pretty cool, interesting shape. But on the other hand, we also have the changeling rifle, which I'm really not a big fan of at all. I'm definitely planning on modifying this and changing up the shape of it and doing something with this to make it less silly looking. But as it is what you get with this kit, you don't get a whole lot in terms of the options for this, but if you get this as the build custom set, it has a whole bunch of different options that you can use with this, changing out the different tips of the gun here. The secondary handle underneath can be moved from side to side, either to the left or the right. These main handles here on the top, you can hold on to it on both sides. It just looks really stupid. This is kind of the one thing that makes me really dislike this the most, because this whole bar with the handles there on the side looks very simple. It's just a flat rectangle piece of plastic there. Just looks kind of uninspired. So overall, as you can see, it's got some stickers, it's got some seam lines, it's got some points where the articulation is really not that good. But does it really feel like you're building an older kit with some new parts added onto it? Not really particularly, considering that some of the new parts that we have to it really aren't that great, in my personal opinion. It just kind of seems like you're building an older kit. This doesn't really feel like you're building a brand new 2018 high grade. It really feels like I'm building like a 2013, 2015, I guess, maybe. I don't really know exactly, but it definitely feels like I'm building an older high grade. And so I guess that there's nothing really wrong with that, but if you were looking for something that's just kind of up to the standards of kind of what we expect for the newest high grades that we're getting out, like some of the high grades we were getting from the Iron Blooded Orphans line or the Origin line, where they're using a lot of very cool new design technologies and in the way the kits are constructed and the level of details and things like that. I think this kit overall has a nice amount of detail, but it's just going to depend on your own personal taste. I a lot of times prefer kind of less is more, especially when it comes to high grades, and just kind of very used sparingly, but in an interesting way. But I think this guy was already kind of going to have a tough time being up against the 00 Diver and the H2 Magnum, which were both kits that are based on very, very good high grades just from the start. Where you have the HGUC GMIII here, which it seems like to me is probably a very good kit just based on what it is, but I wouldn't put it up there as like a really super amazing, like great high grade. It's just a nice high grade. But all that said, what I'm really looking forward to doing with this kit is using all those leftover parts that we have and everything that we have going on with this kit just in general, and just kind of making my own favorite version of this, because as it is, this is not really kind of what I would want to make as my final product, and I wouldn't want to just build it as just the original GMIII. There's not really very much fun in that. So what you can take is, take some of the original parts that you like, take some of the new parts that you like, move things around, do a little bit of modification here and there, and make your own version of that. And that's, I think, probably what I'm most looking forward to with this kit, to be honest. And so I'm gonna be kind of just mixing some stuff around, moving some things here and there, and I think that'll be kind of the most fun. And then that's kind of like in the spirit of the Build Fighters, Build Divers series, right? You're supposed to be like customizing and making Gunpla as you like. So I think that's I'm sure that was not Bandai's intention with this, but I think that's one thing that I definitely can enjoy about this kit is taking it and making it my own. And of course, one thing that I haven't addressed yet is, of course, the elephant in the room, which is the very different, very unique color scheme of this kit. It's very orange, that's for sure, and that's not a bad thing. I always love some orange on a design. It's very cool. It's a little bit too much orange, though, in my personal opinion, but the reason I haven't really mentioned that in the review so far, and the reason why I don't think it's really too much of an issue for me, is just because I usually paint my kits, so that's why I don't really see that as much of an issue. But if you don't paint and you aren't really that big of a fan of having that much orange on a kit, well, there's just a lot of orange here to deal with. And personally, I think it's a fine shade of orange. I really like the look of that. It's just a whole lot of it. So I don't know if that's going to be an issue for you, but if it is, then it is. Otherwise, I think it's a solid kit. It's definitely maybe the weakest of the Build Divers lines so far, just in terms of its overall quality compared to the other ones, but I think that there are definitely some redeeming factors of this. One thing that I didn't mention about, but as you can see here, is of course the changeling rifle plugs onto the front of the buster binders, So if you had 2 of those, you could have 2 of those. If you bought the build custom set for the changeling rifle, you could have 2 of those on there with different attachments on there. You could have fun with that. You can also take the buster binder off of there, and that kind of secondary handle on the top of the buster binder, you can hold on to that as well, and kind of two-handed grip that. I tried it. It doesn't really look that good. There's a photo of it in the manual, and it looks kind of okay. And I guess if you had it like at just the right pose and you're taking a photo at just the right angle, you can make it look okay. But otherwise, I think probably just having it attached onto the side, still doing something like this is going to be your best bet. And as I mentioned very early on in the review, two-handed gripping the changing rifle, I think just looks very stupid. It works fine for the Dovin Wolf, not really so much for this particular kit, in my opinion. So, as always, a huge thank you to USA Gundam Store for supplying me with this kit. So do check out the link to their site down below. Use that coupon code there, ZakuAurelius10, save 10% if you want to get this kit or anything else there on their site. So as always, thank you to them. As always, thank you to you guys as well for watching. Leave any other further questions and comments you guys have down below. If there's anything that I missed, let me know. But overall, it's a fine, solid kit. If you like the design, then you'll be more than happy enough with the kit itself. There's flaws, there's pros, but it's an HG. It's just pretty standard, I think. So if you like it, then you'll be happy with it enough. And with that, guys, I wish you all a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Hey! Thanks for watching, guys. Remember, if you want to check the kit out for yourself, you can head over to USA Gundam Store. Use that coupon code ZakuAurelius10. Save yourself 10%. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Bye-bye.